Central Valley families will have more access to much-needed supplies like masks and face shields and hand sanitizers. Earlier today, First 5 California distributed donated supplies at Central Valley Children's Services Network. This is all part of First 5's emergency supply program benefiting community organizations in the valley. Our Brody Logan spoke to First 5 Fresno County on how families can get a hold of these goods.
We now welcome Fabiola Gonzalez, First 5 Fresno County's Executive Director. Now, First 5 is providing important supplies for Fresno County families. So I'm curious, can you talk about kind of the emergency need, the relief program, and what has been donated?
Sure. Thank you for having us this morning, Brody, or this afternoon, I'm sorry. We partner with our parent agency, First 5 California, to figure out best ways to support families with young children across the state. And so they said, let's make sure that every childcare provider and as many community benefit agencies that are operating right now have safety, personal protective equipment supplies and cleaning supplies that they need. So ever since the pandemic started around April, they made this decision. In May, there was a first delivery here in Fresno County. And this delivery that happened today was to support community-based agencies with these same materials, personal protective equipment. So we have masks for children and for adults, cleaning supplies, hand sanitizer, and diapers, books. A lot of the goodies that families with young children need have also been donated and distributed.
You mentioned the pandemic. How has things changed for various community-based organizations in the area as far as not just what they need, but how they're getting those needs filled?
Imagine having a young baby, and like one good example is our home visiting services. So across the state and in Fresno County, there are nurses or professionals that will go out to homes typically to check in on a new baby and how mom is doing. You can't do that in the pandemic, but all of these agencies, all of these services have switched and have, figure out ways to meet families where they're at. So we have home visitors that are doing virtual visits to make sure that as soon as mom leaves the hospital with a newborn, she's still connected, and on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, there's check-ins with moms. We have families that said, okay, we love being in a classroom and taking our little ones to interact even before they enter school. How can we do that in the middle of a pandemic? So virtual classes started, and reading classes or reading story time virtually happened. And you see grandparents and moms and dads, in their living rooms, making sure that their children still somehow interacting with other kids, even if it's on the screen. Some of these agencies have figured out new ways. If the services that they were originally provided are unable to happen, what is it that families need? How can we make sure that they have supplies like diapers, like formula? So a lot of them, we've worked with them to modify services so that they still are an arm of support to the families that they were originally hoping to serve in a different way. But, given our times, here we are trying to move alongside with them.
What are the different ways that families can pick up supplies? If someone watching says they need something, or a family member, a friend, what can they tell them? Where can they go?
Connecting to family resource centers across the county. We are fortunate that in Fresno County we're partnering with Centro, La Familia. We're also partnering with CSN, Children's Services Network. Get on the internet, and those numbers are easily found, and families can connect. Their childcare provider, their pediatrician, all of these professionals are connected to make sure that they know where families can receive any service that they may need. So I would encourage anyone watching to make sure that you ask your doctor, you ask your childcare provider, how can you be connected to some of these services or supports, and they'll be happy to connect you.
And how can people watching help you guys help others?
Spread the word. If it's one thing that has happened as a result of this, is we've realized the importance of childcare providers, for example, and how much of an essential workforce they are. So help us come alongside them to support them and make sure that they have what they need, and that whenever, legislation or whenever policy concerns rise up that support having a workforce that is supported by childcare providers, that childcare is seen as an essential component of an economy. I think for First Five, that's one of the things that we've realized, that it's come to light, and we are encouraged by all of our community members realizing the value that there is in having high quality childcare accessible to all of us.
Definitely. There's so much that has changed because of this pandemic. We don't want those newborns and those moms to fall behind as well. Fabiola Gonzalez, First Five Fresno, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Brody.